Darrell Dennis, actor, comedian, playwright, and radio personality.
That is correct.
Yes.
You got all four of them, yes.
So tell me a little bit about your one-man show.
Yeah, my one-man show was called Tales of an Urban Indian. It's kind of a semi-autobiographical piece. I've been doing it for about 10 years. It sort of talks about my experiences growing up on a reservation, moving to the city, sort of getting mixed up in the seedier sides of life in the city, and then sort of coming out of that and regaining my pride and realizing who I am as a Native person. So it's been very successful. Had numerous tours across Canada and the United States. It was translated into a French version, which was performed in Montreal. It's been translated into a youth version. So a number of different, it's kind of weird, a number of different actors have done the lead role, which was sort of based on my life.
But it was originally you in it, right?
Originally it was me, yeah. I did it for about 4 years. Just touring around, and that got to be too much because when you're on the road doing a one-man show, it's just you, right? So it's like, and you're in the middle of hotel rooms in the middle of nowhere, and it got kind of depressing. So I kind of retired, and then I got a call that they wanted me to do it in New York at the famous Public Theater where Hair started and Angels in America.
Yes.
So. I had to come out of retirement for that. And once that happened, then Native Voices at the Autry in Los Angeles wanted me to do it, and I had to come out of retirement for that. And then, but I think I finally put it to rest now, and I'll let other people sort of take over.
Wow, so it lives on.
It lives on, yes, in infamy.
How did you get started writing that?
A lot of the roles that we were going for as Native actors were all that sort of like, white men bring shame to our village, and that sort of, and so I was getting really annoyed because I was actually an actor and I was able to speak in complete sentences.
Right.
And so I was getting a little tired of doing the old broken.
Me no like stereotype.
Me no like stereotype is what was my motto. Me speak real good like. So I got really annoyed doing that. So I said, well, I could either hang around and complain about it, or I can write my own projects that sort of showed my experiences and my my knowledge of the real Native experience. So I started writing that, and one of the first things I wrote got produced. It was a play that I didn't perform in. When that got produced, people started approaching me to write more and more stuff, and I decided, yeah, I'm going to branch off, and I thought my life story is kind of interesting, and I think it relates to a lot of people, so I thought I'd write that. And the original draft I wrote was almost like 4 hours long, so it was a long process of editing it down and stuff, because as exciting as I think my life is, I'm sure nobody would think 4 hours worth of my life is that exciting.
Sitting in the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Would he just shut up? My God, is he still talking?
So what age era did it start at?
It started actually from before I was born.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and I played something like 40 characters. So I played like my mother, my father, who went to Wounded Knee back in the 70s and got involved in the American Indian movement. Played my grandmother is a big part in there. Ex-girlfriends, guys I had fights with, my best buddies. So it was this crazy sort of, I don't know, it's just a multiple personality sort of thing. And it's really fast paced. And
when you first started performing this, did it get too emotional, recalling all these past memories?
Yeah, I mean, there was stuff like when I'm talking about suicides and the death of family members and that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, that was another reason why I had to sort of retire from it. It got exhausting.
Because when you're acting, you can say, well, this is not my reality, but in your case, it is.
Right. Yeah.
That would have been overwhelming for a lot of people.
Yeah, and the hard part was when the plays did tours, we went to out west in British Columbia where I'm from, and then I'd be like doing this play for family members who would come see the show, and I'd be backstage like, oh, I never thought of that, like the actual people that I grew up with are actually coming to see this play, and now I'm talking like my dad's in the audience and I'm doing him as a character, my mom's in the audience, and ex-girlfriends I had that
Right,
I'm
just
talking
like,
about,
Wait.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wait a second.
And you could hear them in the audience because it was such an intimate space. You could hear them, like my mom's like, "Oh, that's me. Oh, I don't do that." And my dad, when he came, because I'm doing pretty, it's like a lot of my writing is pretty comical. I mean,
Right.
we talk about dark stuff, but I mean, like, as is the way of Native people, the darkest stuff is usually when we laugh the most.
Right.
So that's the sort of thing. So it would be like I could see my dad in the audience, and I would be doing my version of my character, my dad, and I could see all, like, the entire reservation is there in the audience, and they're all looking at my dad to see his reaction and stuff. It's like, oh man, this is not good.
How did he react, man?
He had a good sense of humor about it. I mean,
Oh.
we've gone through our stuff and
Yeah.
come to terms before he passed away, and so it was it was good. I mean, he was laughing. My dad's the sort of guy, when anytime you're talking about him, it doesn't matter, he's like, that's me. I think that's probably where I got it from.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Like, that reminds me of someone.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's paying attention to me. Life is good.
So, I heard you were just in South Dakota doing another playwriting.
Yeah, I had the great opportunity to travel to the Pine Ridge Reservation to teach playwriting, which they're trying to get a lot more arts involved in the schools and for the community. So I got to go to the Red Cloud Indian School and got a group there who were interested, and it was really interesting because the first day we were there, we kind of went through all the classes and sort of pitched what we were doing and said, hey guys, come and check this out, we're doing playwriting, this is what's going to happen. And people were sort of like, well, we don't really know what it's about, and that's, but we actually got a really great group of people who really were interested and stayed with it for the whole week. And
So you're also a radio personality.
yeah, I had a show that I was doing in Canada with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is, I guess, kind of like the NPR here.
Mm-hmm.
For 4 seasons, I did a program where I was myth busting about
really?
native stereotypes, and it was really popular, and people really, non-native people really tuned in and were like, oh man, that's crazy. I didn't realize that, native people were human beings too.
Right, yeah. So before the one-man show, what had you done as an actor?
I had done a lot of theater, especially up in Canada. Done a lot of film and television. I would do whatever sort of U.S. shows would come into town. I would get cast in that. So like I said, I mean, it was a lot of the stuff that they were casting natives for was a lot of that buckskin sort of, I mean, always shirtless and wrestling around. It was just the same. It was the same script all the time, right? It was like,
exactly.
It was a white guy comes to a native village, shows us how to do stuff, and then runs away with the Indian maiden who loves it. So it was the same script, pretty much every time. So
that's been the same script since like the late 40s.
It pretty much has, yeah. I mean, and I would love to say it's changed since then, but I mean, we still have a lot of ways to go. I mean, I was in this one film where there was like this native kid who was dying, and then this white teenager comes in and like saves the day by operating on him because the natives had no knowledge of medicine or how to cure their own. It was like, oh, thank you, white man, for saving our people, and he's like 14 years old. It was like, it's really insulting. I mean, when you look back at it,
right,
sort of.
of
So
course.
all those sort of experiences really got me sort of attention down here in the U.S. So people would start bringing me down here to perform and act and stuff and write stuff, and I really I just couldn't beat the weather, so I just decided to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up, were you like funny all your life?
I was always the class clown. It would help me to not get beat up when you're funny, because I was really sort of tall and skinny and gangly, and went to a lot of kind of tough schools and that sort of thing. So the funnier I was, the more the less I was thrown into lockers and stuff. So it just became sort of a part of my personality. And tell me a joke. And it's like, that wasn't funny. Now get in the locker. But so
Did they really go up to you and say, "Tell me a joke"?
all the time, man. Hey, say something funny, And when
What would you say?
I don't know. I can't remember what was funny when you're like 8 years old. And, you do like the armpit farting things. Hey, he's a good guy. Don't beat him up.
Like growing up on the res, I mean, my dad once told me that he lived below the poverty line, but that was the only life he knew, so he wouldn't have even known it. So because it was just life. It didn't seem like poor or bad or anything. What do you think about that? Is it similar for you?
It is amazing. You know, now that I haven't really thought about it like that, but yeah, it's amazing. We were way below the poverty line, and it's amazing how you just make do.
Right.
And you know, when because you're on a res and it's a close-knit res, you sort of rely on everybody. There's always people around and there's family and that sort of thing. So if you were, you know, there were times I'd go to the fridge and there'd be like a loaf of moldy bread and maybe some, you know, mayonnaise. It's like, okay, well, let's go to my auntie's house and maybe she'll have some Spam or whatever, you know, or whatever it is, you know. And so you never really go without, but it's amazing just how little you really need. We never starved. There's always somebody who would look after us, you know, or help us out. But we were dirt poor, and we laughed a lot and we had a great time. Of course, I mean, there was, you know, problems. It's a res, you know, so we didn't need toys, you know. We'd go outdoors, and that was what we did for fun. I mean, one of our favorite games was war, where we'd pick up a stick and run around the country, you know, the hillside, and like go bang, 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 and that was our toy. You know, we didn't have Xbox, we didn't have that sort of thing. We actually went outside. So, listen to me. We went to school 3 miles uphill both ways. But no, I'm just trying to say, it makes me sound really, really old, right? But I mean. But that's what we did. I mean, because we didn't have money for that sort of stuff. And I mean, it's kind of funny to me because especially in the area I grew up, there was still the old sort of rivalries. Like my tribe is Shuswap, and we were always at war with the Chilcotin Indians and that sort of thing. So when we were bused from the reserve into junior high to go to school, there was always, we'd wander the halls and the Chilcotins would walk by and be like, you know, and they'd do the same with us. But in the end, we're all native, you know.
And then everyone makes fun of the Crees.
Yeah, exactly. We'd say, well, wouldn't you?
My mom is like, I had to swallow my pride and marry a Cree guy.
Cree, oh. They used to say that the Crees would come over the mountain and to come to our tribes just to steal our women because there was no good-looking women back there.
I've heard that one.
You've heard that one? Yeah, it's probably every tribe says that about the Crees.
Everyone has Cree jokes.
Yeah.
It has been lovely chatting with you.
It's been great chatting with you as well, too.
All right, Darrell, Dennis, everyone.
Round of applause for the beautiful, the stunning Day and Night.
Lately I've been thinking, baby, you and I should get to know each other personally. Yeah. Baby, we come on to taste so sweet, and maybe you and I could do something. That's right.
Hello, I am here with Day and Nite.
Hi.
So, tell me a little bit about your background. Like, how did you grow up and how did you start singing?
Go ahead. Oh, well, we grew up in New Mexico, born and raised. And singing was just second nature for us because our dad was a musician and his whole family, they were artists and singers and musicians. So for us, it was just second nature to take over and start singing and stuff like that. So there wasn't like a real time where we were like, hey, I want to be a singer. It wasn't like something that was shocking to our family. Right, it would have been something that would have been unnatural. Now, if we would want to be doctors, that would have been shocking. They would have been floored by that. But yeah, because we were so shy. Yeah, we were like really shy. So when we started, now it's forget about it. No one would ever believe it.
Now they're like, calm down. But
before,
they couldn't get us to sing.
Yeah, but so when we did start singing, we would just kind of look at the ground, and I would stare at her the entire time, and she was looking down.
And I'm looking up. Like, okay.
We used to get spanked all the time. Every time we would do a show, they were like, why do you guys get up there and embarrass us?
Yeah.
You know, like, if you're going to sing, then you have to learn how to sing right. You have to make eye contact.
Yeah.
So finally, we kind of got the hang of being on stage. That's where we felt more natural as performing. And so we finally just kind of grew into it. And it just,
so that's
ever since.
Wow. And you write your own songs as well?
Yes, we write all our music. Stuff.
We were singing and recording songs, and then they wanted to push us a little bit more, so they basically told us not to come out of our room until we had a song written.
Wow.
And if we wanted to hang out with our friends or do anything, the song needed to be done.
Wow.
So that's what we did. And I think we talked about your boyfriend at the time, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that's what we wrote it about. I didn't know anything about songwriting, but when we were done, they were like, wow.
The name of it, Baby?
Baby Never Leave Me.
Baby Never Leave Me, yeah.
But he did.
Isn't that how it always goes?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
What was that like, having that kind of pressure on you to always do something?
Well, you don't know that you're being pressured until you're an adult, and then you
Right.
realize you're like, wait a minute. I grew up with way more pressure than these other kids are growing
Right.
up with, because it wasn't really pressure, but it was always like we had to be our best and we had to perform, and it was just what we did, and my
Right.
parents expected us to be the best, and you didn't know you were being pressured until, you know, like I said, we're
Right.
older now. I look back and I'm like, dang, that was a lot of pressure.
It was, but at the same time, it was
made us
something that
the
was
performers we are
their
now.
way of encouraging us. Like, I know you have it in you. I know you could do much
Right,
more, much
yeah.
better. So keep doing it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like Michael Jackson's that or anything like that.
They didn't beat us or anything.
But so you started performing at what age? 12?
I think it was 12, 13,
13,
something
yeah,
like
13.
that. And we started in church.
Yeah,
Oh,
we started
okay.
singing in church, being a twin. That individually, kind of something you have to work for. The individuality, because people will just see us as one person. So
Yeah.
that's why the name Day and Night for us it captured everything that we are.
Wow, I was actually just going to ask that. Where did you come up with your name? That's very...
Yeah, it was
Very clever.
It was actually, I think it was more of our fans that did it, because
Yeah.
we would come up and then we would give our names, and I would say Day, hi, my name is Day, and they'd be like, oh, so this is Night?
It must
And
be
we're
Night.
like, yeah, that is Night.
So it's kind of a thing where you don't actually reveal your real name.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and it was just kind of a persona that we took over, but at the same time, it's not so much a stage name. Like Night, Day and Night is not really, oh yeah, that's just who they are. It's a stage name, whatever. It really is who we are as people every single day. Very different. We're day and night, completely, 24 hours a day.
So how are you guys different, like personality-wise?
She's
I am overly emotional, overly sensitive.
aggressive. So she's more outspoken,
Yeah, I'm
more
very
in your
expressive.
face and expressive, whereas I'm not. I'm more like the laid back, that
I don't want to
type.
say anything.
I don't want to say
that
anything.
type
I'm
of thing.
non-confrontational. Don't
Yeah.
hurt me, and I won't hurt you. And if
Yeah.
you do hurt me, you probably won't hear about it for about a year. So
I'll tell her and she'll go do something. She comes off as more the shy one until you get to know her. Then she breaks open and then she's the funniest person you've ever met. But when you first meet us, I'm like in your
I've been
face and
told.
she's very shy until she feels comfortable. She's an observer at first and then afterwards she's
Yeah.
crazy.
So being a performer and being on the road all the time and always doing something can get kind of lonely. Are you happy you have each other? Like, how has that been to have your sister there the
Yeah.
whole time?
We have events and stuff. The fact that I think, imagine if I was a solo singer and I have to be going to this thing by myself or with a friend or whatever. But with me and her, we're just like, as long as
And then
she's
one
there
time
and
in
I'm there,
Canada,
we're
I think we
okay.
tried doing the individual thing, because we always share rooms. You know, they usually put us up in a separate room, or they ask us. And I think one time we tried doing the separate room, and then
No,
this
we
one
went out-
comes
no,
knocking.
This was on.
Is there a bed open in here?
I can totally imagine that.
This was
yeah.
on tour. We went on the Hillary Duff tour, and they got us our separate rooms. And then the first night went by, and then the next day he's like, "So here's your key, and here's your key." We're like, "Actually, from now on, you can just give us the one key because we're gonna be sharing the same
Yeah.
exact room."
So-
This whole double thing is not working out.
Yeah.
So
So you went on tour with Hillary Duff,
yes,
and who else did you?
Paula Deonda and Baby Bash. That was it.
That's a very impressive resume, though.
Oh,
thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it was fun. That was the best times of our life. We always say Hillary Duff's our favorite because she took us to Australia and Brazil and Mexico. So
Wow.
if you can top that with a tour, then we'll be our new favorite.
To Australia, Brazil,
Yeah.
and Mexico.
It was awesome. We couldn't believe it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
wow.
these people don't even speak English, and they're screaming out her name and singing
Yeah.
her songs. So for
That's
us to
pretty
be
amazing.
on stage and watching that and hearing that, it was tough. If it was like every other day was a new city, packing up your bags, going. Oh my God, it was crazy. And we were exhausted, but it confirmed everything for us. So
Yeah.
it was good.
You were in a movie,
Yes.
Called More Than Fry Bread.
and what part did you play in that?
I played her better half, awesome sister, Stormy, and she played Sunshine. Which again was funny. When we went into the audition, we're like, Stormy and Sunshine, because we got sent the script. And then when we're reading like Stormy and Sunshine, it's so crazy because day and night, it just kind of made sense, you know?
Yeah.
So we go in and the director goes, wow, you guys really are Stormy and Sunshine.
Duh.
I will be representing the Yavapai Apache tribe at the State Fire Bread Championship. We've been cooking for about, I don't know, since we could walk, probably even before we could crawl. That's true.
I'm here to win. It's not about being overconfident. I call it visionary.
It's a big deal to get this far.
Isn't history always written by the winners?
I'm starting to feel the pressure. She's gonna do fine. She got me on her team.
At a local contest and I won, I'm not surprised.
You know, he's big time. He's like the Jim Morrison of fry bread. You know, Tom Cruise of fry bread, if you will.
The wolves will even cry when they hear his name.
I am very excited for this competition. Very excited, I must say.
Yeah, it was
Korean
cool. We just
Sunshine.
played Sisters, and it's about a fire bread competition with 22 tribes around Arizona.
Thank you. And then why can you turn around and show us the fire bread security? Yeah, just like that. Very cute. But you guys still gotta get together. Love it.
With Camp Birdie with the Yavapai Apache, when you guys showed up, the community,
They completely embraced us. They taught us, you know, their traditions, how they do things, what they wear, how they talk, the attitudes, the non-attitudes, and everything. So they were really warm and welcoming, and we appreciate that.
Did you guys do any acting before that?
No, that was our first one. That's why I said I apologize to everybody that went to the movie, because I'm like, listen, people, next time we will take acting lessons just in case it does premiere in LA.
But we were just wanting to, you know, grow more, experience more, and we just thought acting would be something like new to try and see if we enjoyed it or not. And
did you enjoy it?
It was, yeah, I mean, we had a blast. For us, it's weird. I guess as an actor, they feel comfortable being another character, whereas for me personally, I felt uncomfortable being a character. I feel more comfortable on stage being who I am.
Yeah.
But so that was a challenge for me.
Where else do you do shows? Like, I saw videos of you, and you guys seem to have a big fan base.
We try. We do shows in Canada a lot,
New Mexico, to Wisconsin,
all over, wherever we can get a gig.
With Hillary Duff and the other, were you opening up for them, or did you sing backup, or were backup dancers? And...
We were backup singers.
Oh, okay.
On the tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had two backup singers, which are us, and then she had two dancers.
And that was the same thing with Baby Bash and Paula Dienda.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool, like being like behind the artist, because all the pressure's not on you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could just kind of, as long as you know your parts, you're good. You know what I mean? It's not like you know, when we perform, oh yeah, now day and night. That's like, oh my God, I have to breathe. You know.
Yeah.
Whereas then it was just like, okay, as long as I know my parts were good, and it was crazy to be behind somebody and then watching them perform and watching them get nervous and, you know, going through that whole thing. So it was fun.
Yeah.
So growing up, did you guys fight a lot, or did you?
I don't think we fought a lot.
We fight more now.
I don't remember fighting a lot because we didn't have any other friends.
Yeah, we cling to each other. We were bullied in high school.
Oh yeah.
High school, mid-school, elementary.
Yeah, we were always bullied because everyone was like,
All
"Oh, the
awesome
twins."
people are.
I know, that's the story of our life, right?
And so
then
we never had any friends.
So it was always the two of us, and I mean, we just got along better that way. And
everybody else fought
I think
with us,
I know what we fought about because my mother made us dress alike. Till the 8th grade, until I finally stood up and said, "No, woman, I'm my own person, and I hate the way she dresses." Finally, in the 8th grade is when I finally said, "No, I'm not dressing like her anymore."
So that was our biggest fight.
That was your biggest fight.
That's all. I think that's all we fought about.
So what's next? What are you doing? What's coming up?
We have new songs coming out.
Wow.
We're in the studio now, recording new stuff.
And there's a talk of a reality show.
What?
Yeah,
That's
us and some
crazy.
other people around LA area because we're all here pursuing something.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's not like any other show like where they're, you know, rich and like, you know, doing just whatever, making things up. It's more of a day in the life of, you know, having to go to the meetings, getting rejected, saying you're not good enough.
Actual real life.
Yeah,
I mean,
real life.
Like I get the other reality TV shows, and I get the glamour and the big houses and the cars and I get that. It's entertaining, but there is no influence for anybody like our age or younger to look at somebody and be like, wow, if they can do it, then I can do it. Like that gives them that hope.
Yeah.
Even though you're struggling, you should still have hope. You should still pursue
Right.
it. You're gonna get knocked down. You're gonna get told no a million times. But when you
Right.
get told yes the one time, that's when it's gonna really matter and change your life.
And it
You
makes
know what I
it
mean?
that much better.
Yes, that makes it more special. Yeah.
So that's what's going
That's
on.
basically what the show is gonna.
Well,
kind
that'll be really great for you guys. I'm really excited about that.
You better
watch
change
it.
your attitude.
I'll watch that. Well, it has been lovely chatting with you today, day and night.
Thank you so much.
I wish you luck in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Shayna. It's been a pleasure, and thank you. Thank you, guys.
We're here in Cochiti Pueblo Reservation now. We're gonna go stop by Virgil Ortiz's house, check out his studio.
Cochiti was the first one to do storytellers and this kind of figurative pottery. The fashion will inspire wall pieces, the wall piece will inspire a leather coat. And then again, the pottery inspires everything. The pottery is the base, the soul of everything that I do.